I'm going to do a video on how I price stocks, especially ones that are trading out into new all-time highs. But first, I thought I would post this little tidbit of information for you. The formula for success according to J.P. Getty. Mr. J.P. Getty planning on how to make his first billion in the U.S. oil patch. It's a very simple step that he had. 1, rise early. 2, work hard. 3, strike oil. That's nothing to it. So let's look at this ENPH, for instance. And I did have a target of 29 on it, and it did hit to 29, traded to 28.93. So I was 7 cents short on my target, which is not too bad, not a bad call. But somebody asked me, like, well, how did you come up with that number? Sorry, I'm just closing a few windows here. And that's a good point. So I have done a video on this before, but just to reiterate on how we can figure this out. On a stock like ENPH, there's a couple of ways to do it. Let me just see. So it breaks out here at 12 and trades to 19. Let's see what this one was. 16 to 21. So that doesn't really work. So I have one of the ways I do it is what I call a measured move. So if I did it from here, from $12 to the breakout here at 21, that's $9. If I add $9 to this low price here, 19, that would take us to 28. And so that would be my target. But the stock had already moved to 27. And so it looked like it was going to go further than that. So my next technique, and this is a very exact science, you may want to write this down. I look at the next round number, and that's the price I put. It's just a reasonable number. It's just a reasonable amount. I mean, you know, I could say a number of things, but it's just from experience. It's trading in this area, 28. You know, if it pops, it adds $1. It's going to run into resistance at 29, just natural resistance. So that's my target. And if it busts through that, then my next target's, you know, then it really starts to run. So maybe adding a couple of bucks gets the target. So it really is. There isn't really a magic to it. I just, you know, I call a number that's a reasonable amount that it's going to move. It comes up to the whole dollar. That's where I'm expecting it to get to. Sure enough, it got to 28.97 or 92, 8 cents short, and then rolls over. Now that's one way. Just you're looking for reasonable amounts of where you should think about exiting this trade. Of course, the other thing that we're looking at, we didn't work with it's not so much with ENPH because it is a new high. You know, is where is it in the channel? And well, in this case, the channel could be this, like this, right? This could be the long-term channel for this stock. And so it does have a long ways to go to 40 before it runs into that level of resistance. But we could have done, you know, maybe here, so $1 to 7. No, that doesn't work. That takes us too far back. So in this case, ENPH, it just was a reasonable amount, and it looked like a good area. Now, some of the other stocks, let's have a look. What else? Maybe we could see that on the indices. It's all the same. This is how I came up with my 3,200 point gain for the SPY. So at the end of the bear market, end of December, early January, this thing trades at 23.40 and goes from 23.40 to 2940. So 600 points. So if I add 600 points onto this level, 2730, that's going to take me up to 3300. So that's my target for this next move on SPY, 3300, based on the measured move. I take the low to the high, measure that amount. I take the next low, the pullback low, and add that on, and that gives me my target. So that's 3,300 is my target on SPY. I had been saying 3,200, so depending on how I calculated it, somewhere between 3,200 and 3,300. Again, it's not an exact science, but that just shows you how powerful and big this move could be. NDX, same thing. It got down to, call it 5,900, and traded to, I'm just using round numbers, let's call it 7,800, 7,900. So that's a 4,000 point move. So from here, from 7,000, we could look to see this trade to 11,000. That would be a huge move. So that might not be realistic, but in the meantime, this is trading to all-time new highs. So where would I look for targets for NDX? Well, I'd look at the top of the channel, because this hasn't broken out of a channel. This is in a channel, even though it's trading new highs. So I'm looking for this to trade up to 8,200, which puts me at the top of the channel. And so that would be my target, NDX, top of the channel, even though it's a breakout to new highs. Let's see. Not sure what else we might have that's a new high. In a sense, this LCC is a new high. This back here from 2000, this is not going to have any importance in the market. So so I'm not going to worry about that. So how would I figure this one out? Well, I'd do a measured move. I'd say from 5 to 15 is a $10 move. So my target for LSCC would be 11 plus 10 would be 21. So I would be calling 21 as a target for LSCC if this was all new high territory. And you can see that it has this parallel line here, and which comes in at 20. So that could be also a resistance level for it. But if this is more here, like this, then here it is, 21 is the top of the channel.